important. This is such a time of uncertainty. Maybe you're feeling a little unsettled. You don't really know what you should be doing from time to time, and that's okay. We're almost going through collectively a trauma here, and that's what happens when you're going through something like this. So what we want to do in times like these is really settle in, is ground ourselves, grow our roots deeply, so that when we come out on the other side, we come out with confidence. We're resourceful. We know that we're going to move forward even quicker because we've grown the roots during this time. We've taken really good advantage of almost this forced stillness, all right? So I just wanted to let you know that today is really going to be about grounding. So instead of, Ms. Dieter, he does yin with me all the time, instead of telling yourself to be still, you're going to hear me say the words settle in, settle in. Settle into what's happening. Settle into your body. Allow it to happen. Grow the roots. And so with that said, I welcome you to find a really comfortable space. So normally I'm doing my yoga in my yoga room. And today I just woke up and my bedroom felt great. It felt like a really great space. So as you can see, I don't even have a yoga mat. I just put out one of my favorite blankets and I just moved the furniture and I just created a space that really helps me earth and ground, all right? So that's what I want to encourage you to do today, is find a comfortable space for yourself right now and take the time, press pause if you're on replay, take the time to go find that space. He will settle down, I promise. So, oh, Dieter. So, my goodness, the crazy dog. Did y'all have water too? Good. I'm gonna put my water over here so crazy D doesn't do anything else to it. So we are going to start in child's pose. All right. So I've got a clock here. I am going to keep time because we're holding for time today. So here's what child's pose looks like. Our big toes are together. The knees are open. If you need a pillow or anything, have one close by that helps lift you up, all right? And then hips to heels, and we just take the arms out in front, all right? Can y'all see me okay? I think so. And from there, we just settle in. We're gonna work on some breathing first, all right? So if this is uncomfortable, you can put the pillow underneath here. You can even put a pillow underneath the knees a little bit to add some cushion and height. So settling in, really grounding, finding a place where you're comfortable. So we want to be really comfortable when we start working our breath. So if this is uncomfortable, please feel free to come up and have a seat. Now take a deep breath in. I want you to sigh out. Do that again. Take a deep breath in. This time as you sigh, settle downward. So you stay where you are. I'm going to sit up so that you can hear me. So in this practice, we are holding for time. If you need to come out at any time, please come out. If you start to feel lightning or fire in the body, that's your body's telling you to come out. That's your time to come out. Now, when we're really working on grounding, we're working with that primal response, that energy that's in charge of fight, flight, or flee. And as we grow through this practice and the postures become more intense, then that's going to be a really big challenge because you're going to want to flee that posture. That's when you remind yourself to settle in, okay? So staying here, take another deep breath in through the nose and out through the nose. If ever breathing through the nose makes you uncomfortable, I want you to just breathe how you want to breathe, all right? So we're just noticing our breath, perhaps taking the first conscious breath of the day. You stay in child's pose again. I'm coming up. Let's do a breathing count together. We're going to breathe in for a count of 4 and out for a count of 6. If you're just joining us, we're in child's pose. Take a breath in for 4, 3, 2, 1, and out for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, 4, 3, 2, 1. Out for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, 4, 3, 2, 1. Out for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just breathe and settle in here for 5 more breaths. Inhale to rise. Remove your props if you have any. And then bring the knees together. So we're in tabletop, knees are together, and then just kind of sass the hips side to side. So relieve the inner thighs a little bit. Create some movement in between our moments of settling. Really becoming connected to the roots, growing your roots will give you more energy. So after this practice, you might find that you're tired, but the rest of the day you have this spurt of energy. You're like, what happened? It's because you really allowed yourself to ground and accept where you are today. So moving on, let's take our belly to the ground, forehead to forearms, and rest here. As you breathe in, imagine your breath traveling in through the nose, down the back of the throat, the neck, all the way down the spine, into the very base of the hips. And as you breathe out, the breath traveling back up the spine, back out the throat and nose. Take a few breaths using this visualization. Return to normal breath. Now, if your lower back feels good here, you have the option to increase the intensity by bringing the elbows underneath the shoulders, hands out in front. We are trying to relax our glutes, relax our belly, just let everything relax down to the earth. Now, your head can tuck and it can lift. Your shoulders can even shrug. It's completely up to you. Find a space where you can feel there's a little bit of heat that's going to happen as we stay here for the next couple minutes. Heat in the lower back, maybe the shoulders. With your next exhale, really settle in. If at this time you feel you need a little bit more for your lower back, you can take the arms or the forearms out to the side, press into the ground and lift up. When you do this, please don't allow the glutes to squeeze to help hold you up. We want to let go here. If you like the traveling breath, you can bring that back into your practice. Five more deep breaths here. If you're ready to come out, let's end the posture the way we began, forehead to forearms, moving very slowly. Once you feel the back returning to the normal feel, draw the right leg up, turn it out, draw it up to the shoulder. This relieves your SI joint. And right leg meets left. Slowly take the hands under your shoulders and lift up. Use some muscle to help you lift you up. Awesome. Coming back into your tabletop. And take the hips right and left and in a circle this time. Few times each direction. No right or wrong here, guys. Just flow. Do what feels good right now. All right. So from here, we're going into toe pose. So tuck your toes. The knees are together. Check the heels. Make sure they're right over the pads of the feet. So we're connected with the earth through our feet most times. So let's open up the bottoms of the feet to really feel that flow. Now, if this feels good for you, I say good, there's a really big love-hate relationship with this pose for a lot of people. You can stay here, but I need you to start to feel something, all right? So feel something in the bottoms of the feet. So the more you come up, the more upper body weight you're putting onto your feet. We're not gonna be here long, all right? So you can come up to straight spine, or you can stay right here with me. You'll notice a lot of times in these postures, the intensity and the depth doesn't come with how low or how much you get into the pose physically. It comes with time. So you kind of have to learn some of these poses, play with them, and find your own sweet spot where you're playing your edge. It's like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. It's not too much, it's not too little, it's just right. Keep breathing here. You got this. If you're having a hard time settling in, it's okay. Return to your breath, that primal life source, the breath. Let's take 3 more breaths together. 3, 2, 1. Exhale, release. Now, come forward. Take the weight off of your heels. Toenails down. Sit back. If this doesn't feel good for the knees, skip it. You can meet us in the next pose. Lean back if you'd like. Lift the knees up. Foot stretch. Do you feel that? Again, if this does not feel good, skip it. And if you skip it, congratulations. You did a great job just listening to your body. All right, here we go. Come on out. Nice and slow. So let's move into a little bit more hip and heart opener. So remember how we were in child's pose at the beginning? We're gonna get deeper into the inner thighs. So we're gonna move into frog pose. What that looks like, guys, is moving forward, bringing the hips forward to where the knee is aligned with the hip. Now, you may not be able to see this, that's okay. Just trust yourself, you'll feel it, I promise you that. And then we're gonna try to get the ankles underneath the knees. Now, we're also going to let the legs just open freely, all right? If you need to place a pillow or something underneath the chest, do so. You can stay right here on your hands, on your elbows. Some of you guys may be able to go all the way down onto the chest. That's okay, wherever you need to be today. Now, can you feel that in the hips? If you can't, I need you to try to move around very slowly and get to where you can. Because again, this is, you're wanting to feel comfortably uncomfortable at this point as we're progressing through our grounding today. So find that point. We'll be here for a couple minutes. Take a deep breath in, get the wiggles out. And exhale, settle in. It's a good time to remind yourself that you're exactly where you're supposed to be today. Just be here. You've got what you need. You've got shelter and you've got breath. If you need to come out at any time, find your way back to child's pose. Five more breaths. Inhale, lift the head. Oh, hands underneath the shoulders. Now Bring some weight forward just slightly, just enough to bring the big toes together again, hips to heels. Drop the hips and find your child's pose. All right, slowly bringing the hands underneath the shoulders again. Let's bring the knees together slowly, as if you could move quickly at this point. Oh, yes. All right. So the knees are underneath the hip points. What I want to do right now is just extend one leg long behind you. Move the ankle around. I'm going to scoot forward just a little bit more. Yes. Lift, play around with it. Do with what feels good. And then do the other side. During these times, guys, things can get very emotional. We don't know how to feel, or we don't know why we're feeling certain things. Our emotions may change quickly from one moment to another. So with that said, remind yourself that that's just normal. Give yourself some compassion, and remember also, and just sway the hips side to side, that others are going through the same thing. So try to have compassion for them as well. Maybe they say or do things that aren't typically in their character or spirit. That's okay. Just be there for them. So with that said, we're going to open up the heart a little bit more to find some more compassion for ourselves. And we're moving into a pose called melting heart. So the knees are staying over the hips. I'm just kidding. The hips are over the knees. And if at any time you need to place a blanket underneath your knees, please do so. It softens, it just softens the surface a little bit. And what we want to do is walk the hands out. Maybe you're at a Y with the hands, maybe they're right over the head. And then lift the tailbone up. Allow the heart to melt to the earth. All right? Use your pillow if you would like to place underneath your chest. Big shoulder opener. Big hip opener, or excuse me, heart opener. So melt into this and hold there. Take a few breaths. Please know, guys, if you have questions, I am watching for questions, so feel free to ask during our practice today. I'm so glad that you're here. So your forehead can be on the ground or your chin. If that's not comfortable, I highly suggest using a pillow underneath the chest. Keep settling in and just breathe. Five more breaths here. Inhale, lift up just a little bit. Bring the hands in. Excellent. All right, guys. So draw the navel in just very gently, creating that flat back. Just a few breaths here. Imagine your hands and Knees and feet growing roots, just really earthing down. So the option is to stay right here or tuck your toes and on an exhale, lift into downward facing dog. Bend and straighten the knees. And then from there, we're moving into swan pose. If you're not used to yin, in other classes they call it pigeon. So bring the right knee to the right wrist. All right? This leg can be out far, it can be in, but we do want to try to equalize the weight on both sides for now. Your back leg is nice and long. If you want to place something underneath this back hip, you can. Check your foot, make sure it's not sickled. Take an inhale. Perhaps you need a pillow underneath the right hip because you feel yourself drawing to the right or it's really high off the ground. Whatever you need to do, fix yourself up there. Getting deep into the hips. Inhale, take a nice deep breath in. Lift the chest to the sky. And then exhale, forward fold over the front leg. Onto the blanket, onto the mat, wherever you want to go, or a pillow. And hold right there. So I'm starting the time and really settle in. This is a longer hold. If this posture is not for you, keep listening. I want to show you an alternative. Otherwise, stay right where you are. The option to this is to lie on the back. Cross the right ankle over the left thigh. Either stay here or draw the leg in to feel that stretch in the right glute. So I'm going to do it on the other side just to kind of show you what it looks like. Okay? If you have a wall close by, you can even put your foot on the wall. Now you may be feeling this in the back. You may be feeling this in the inner thigh. Wherever you're feeling it is where you're supposed to be. I just want you to make sure that you're not too comfortable here. This is when we really start to challenge our fight, flight, or flee. Playing that edge, finding the space where we can stay and we can root even in uncomfortable times, just like we're having to do right now. If you need to turn your head to one side, you're more than welcome to. Keep breathing. If your front leg decides to fall asleep, you can come out of it or come right back into it, or just begin to rest. Three more breaths. All right, inhale to rise. And come over onto the right glute. Bring the left leg to meet the right, and then find your way back into tabletop or downward facing dog. If you're in tabletop, just extend the right leg long. If you're in downward facing dog, use an exhale breath to get you there. And just breathe. Moving to the other side. So the left leg comes forward this time. The leg is turned out, right leg long. How you doing, guys? Pretty good? I wish I could see you. Can't wait to hug you again. All right. Lifting up tall. Find your space. Play your edge. Now, if this side doesn't work for you, the option is to lie on your back. Deep breath in. Lift, lift, lift the chest. Exhale. Forward fold. Get the wiggles out. And with your next exhale, root down and settle in. I'm still with you. Deep breaths. Five more breaths here. Inhale to rise, nice and slow. Put a little bit of weight on this left hip. Bring the right leg around and find your tabletop again or your downward facing dog. If you're in tabletop, just extend the left leg long. Oh, that leg that was in front. Wherever you are, 5 grounding breaths. 4. 3. 2. 1. dragon pose. Bring the right leg forward. You can come to your knees first if you're in downward facing dog. Right leg comes forward and hips press forward. Allow the hips to melt towards the earth. If you need to, use a pillow or something to hold you up. But we're really getting into that left hip point, front hip point. We don't usually stay in this pose for too terribly long. But today, I'm going to ask you to challenge yourself. You knew that was coming, didn't you? We're going to begin, so settle in. If it takes a while to settle in, that's okay. This is where we're really getting uncomfortable here. Head can drop, or it can stay lifted. If you feel you're on a device a lot, then maybe try lifting it throughout. But if that's too uncomfortable, then drop it. But when you tuck the chin, you're going to maybe feel a little bit more stretch in that left hip. Here we go. If that fight or flight response is coming in, give yourself permission to just rest and digest. Be here. If it's too much and you're starting to feel that lightning and fire, then please come out of it just by pressing back. We're almost there. 5 more breaths. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Deep breath in. Lift the head. Exhale. Slowly press back. You'll take that relief in the left hip. Stretch in the front leg. If the front leg is not straight, it is okay. I just want you to feel the lengthening of the front leg and the relaxing of the left, the back. Now from here, try to take the pad of your foot onto the ground. And instead of the middle of the pad of the foot, try the pad of the foot towards and underneath the big toe. You'll get a little bit more stretch in the front of the leg. All right, let's bend the right knee and bring it back to meet the left. Moving organically, maybe sass the hips side to side. Ah, yes. Here we go, you guys, other side. So left leg comes forward. If you ever feel you need a downward facing dog, go there. I know that as we become more experienced practitioners, we kind of find a lot of relief and comfort in downward facing dog. Here we go. Deep breath in. Exhale any insecurities you have about this pose and settle in. Any insecurities that don't serve you at this moment, let them go and be here with your body. 5 breaths. 4. 3. 2. And 1. On an exhale, we press back. You can moan, it's okay. Straightening the front leg, or just enough to get the stretch. Notice the relief. Always sigh. Vocalize your sigh too. Now, pad of the big toe on the ground, or at least searching for it. And bending the front leg, the left leg meets right, and have a seat. Oh yes, the moment you've been waiting for. All right, you guys, move the wrist around, move the upper body around, side bend to one side, then the other side. We're still moving slowly. Rotate maybe one side and then the other. Yes. And let's lean back, bend your knees, and then windshield wipers side to side. So we're going down to our back. I'm going to tell you what we're going to do first, okay? We are going to do 2 supine poses. One is called banana asana, and the other is twisted roots. Twisted roots, woohoo! Aren't we talking about rooting? So the banana asana is really great for opening up the side body, and the twisted roots and giving us that lateral movement in the spine. And the twisted roots is going to give us some shearing, some rotation of the spine. So get comfy on your back. Now this is kind of hard to show on camera, but I'm going to do my best, okay? We're going to take the legs out long. Hi, baby. And then we're going to take the shoulders and the arms overhead to the right, all right? And then, I can't see, baby. The legs are going to go to the right as well. We want to try to keep the legs together. So you have this huge side bend in the left side of the body. Now, it's very important that you go to the right first so that we're opening up the left side of our body first. That's the yin side of our body. So basically, if I were standing, it's going to look like this, okay? Really think about breathing through the left side, all right? Think about not just breathing into the rib cage, but through the rib cage. Take your big breaths here. If the legs come apart, then maybe take one leg over the other. If that bothers the knees, try switching the legs. And if that still bothers the knees, then don't worry about keeping them so close together. Settling in, 3, 2, exhale, release, 1. Allow your head to go wherever you feel is necessary. 5 more breaths. Coming back to vertical by moving whatever moves easiest first, very slowly. And then bend your knees, place your feet onto the ground. Lift the tailbone just slightly, push the belly button into the ground, and release. So moving straight into twisted roots, and then we'll go to the other side with everything. So bring the legs up. Take the right leg over the left leg. It almost looks like eagle legs, all right? If the legs don't tuck, that's okay. You're just crossing the knees. And then take your feet down to the mat, arms to a T, and then take both legs over to the left side. So if the right leg is on top, which is what we want right now, you're going to rotate to the left. The right hip comes off the mat. If you see this space and you're just kind of dangling there, I highly, highly recommend putting a pillow there so that you can rest. Arms to the T, but you can look wherever you want to look. Settle in. If your shoulder comes off the mat, just take your hand to your hip and let it rest there. Three more breaths. When you're ready, bring the knees back up. Come back to the spine. Untangle your legs. Oh, yes. And again, feet on the mat. Gently press back into mat. Stay here for just a moment. Then when you feel everything settled down, feel free to bring the knees into your chest. Rock side to side. Extend legs long, arms overhead. Take the chest and arms and head, upper body over to the left. And now the legs over to the left. So we're opening up the right side of the body now. Our yang side, our active side. Deep breath in. And as you exhale, become heavy. A few more breaths here. When you're ready, slowly coming back to vertical. Bringing the feet in, knees bent, gently press back into mat. And release, left leg is over the right this time, feet onto the mat, arms to a T. And then we'll rotate over the right side. Oh yeah. So left on top, rotate to the right. Become heavy and settle in. A couple more breaths. And making your way very slowly back to the spine. When you're ready, letting the spine and the muscles around the spine just neutralize. And then bring the knees into the chest. Lift the nose, the shoulders, knee to nose. And release. Take the legs long, arms to the side. Find a comfortable spot. We're going to do a couple minutes of Shavasana together. However, I'm going to sit up. If you prefer to sit up, you're more than welcome to. Traditional Shavasana, guys, corpse pose is that pose that signifies the closing of our practice. And it's kind of like us becoming new. When we wake up, we're a new person. Now, normally I don't do a guided Shavasana because I like for you to create your own stillness. But this time I want to encourage you to do this particular type. Find a word that signifies your practice today. Maybe it resembles your practice. Maybe it's how you're feeling right now. And as you lay there, I want you to imagine real quick that every single one of your pores has roots growing out of them and locking into the earth. Digging deeply into the earth, creating a strong foundation for you. Settle in and become heavy with where you are. If you'd like to repeat that word over as you visualize this rooting and this grounding. Just be and breathe for for the next couple minutes. Begin to wiggle something small, fingertips, toe tips, still visualizing that connection you have. Move to ankles and wrists. Still that visualization of being rooted as you move. Eventually bringing knees into chest, rolling to one side and coming to seated as we close our practice together. Once you're seated, find that comfortable seat. Inhale, take the arms over your head, look up at your hands. And exhale, bring the hands to heart center. You guys, today, I hope that you feel more rooted. These are the times that we really need to grow our roots and our strength in our roots. Because when we're on the other side of this, that means we're going to be that much stronger. We're going to have more of a foundation, and it's going to be a lot harder for storms to knock us over. The light in me honors the light in each and every one of you. Namaste. I'll be staying after class to take any questions. So that feeling you have right now, it's called the Yin hangover. Slowly get back into the movement of life. Move around a little bit while you're seated. Then maybe find downward facing dog. So the practice is over, but you still need to transition. We need that transition time before we get back into